Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel here. It's the Mac, and welcome back to a brand new game from Wargame Design Studio, Sword and Siege, Crusades Book 2, man. Yeah, Wargame Design Studio release. This was actually this Friday. It's actually Tuesday today, so yeah, I feel a bit bad, but I haven't had time to record yet. But this game was released on Friday, man, and it's the continuation here in the trilogy of the Sword and Siege series Crusaders book. So the next one will probably be called Book 3. So I want to thank Wargame Design Studio for a review copy of the game. We're going to dive into it. We're going to have a look at it and see what this pretty badass game got to offer here. I've covered Crusades Book 1 on the channel before when this was released, and now we're at Crusades Book 2, man. So, there's a bunch of new things in this game. There's some new mechanics and some new added features from the first, from Book 1, basically. We're going to be going and looking at that. We're going to be checking out. I'm going to look at, at the contents of the game and stuff. And I think we're going to, just have a look at one of the training scenarios. They have an extensive amount of training scenarios for this that really, gets you to practice mostly the siege features, how to actually lay siege to a castle and to, use catapults and ladders and siege towers and, engineers to breaching, gatehouses and towers and walls and, all kinds of good stuff that is included in this game here. So let's just, briefly have a look at the let's have a look at the the release page here. We can go through. They're pleased to announce that the Crusader Book 2 there was released. So this game, if you remember, the first game covers the first and the second Crusade basically, and there's like a mention of the People's Crusade that was total shambles, rabble of peasants walking down and getting killed basically, but then. This game covers the third and the fourth Crusades, and kind of tell right off the bat there, I'm not like an expert or anything on the history here, but I've done some research and read some stuff. But the third and the fourth Crusade are some of the more famous Crusades because you have Richard the Lionheart and King Louis something, or what was his name? The French. There's a couple of like big historic figures that took part in this endeavor. Okay, I'm checking out the wrong files now. Anyways, let's just look at this. Yeah, so the history and all that is packed in here. They have a really good summarization of So I think the book 1 ended like in 1148, I think. Yes, it says it picks up right after the Second Crusade's failure, as Damascus in 1148, and Crusade forces abandoned the siege due to supply issues. So this picks up, the first battle is in 1149, actually. It's actually included in game at Inab, where Nur al-Din defeated the Principality of Antioch's army and killed its prince. So I like the fragility of the Crusades frontier. So they sort of had some areas there from the Second Crusade but the Arab nations and the Arab forces in the region were did not want these people down there to occupy and take their lands. So they were already on the offensive there, and it was constant fighting going on there. So from 1150 to 1170, the strategic landscape shifted to Muslim power. So they got the upper hand there and stuff, and you also have Saladin, very famous general, and rally under the Jihad war against the Christians there. He was like a huge figure and a very very competent and successful commander of the forces. Yes, we're gonna look at that, but they tell you all that. We got some nice screenshots here. Here's some famous battles that took place. We're gonna, I don't know much about them, but we're gonna be learning. So they also have new features. So they have they have refined the AI. They have added a new drag path movement feature. Not sure about that. We're gonna have to examine that. They added a night shading feature on the graphics. They added an organization circle to the jump mat, and they check so that recovery from movement disorder will occur on the following turn. Yes, this is a big new one. They added ladders in order for units to be able to scale the walls. And oh, they added the ability for leaders to dismount. Wow. Okay, cool. I didn't actually know that until I read it right now. Cool. The firing range function indicator not only shows the firing arc, but also differentiates between direct and indirect fire when applicable. Okay, we're gonna have a look at that as well. Yeah, so graphic-wise, there might be. I don't think they have made a lot of improvements, but I mean the graphics are still really good. But I mean I don't think they put an emphasis on that. Not that I know of. So there are all the books, good, and of course there's some really good YouTube videos out there from the Kings in general. This is I'm not sure what this one is. Is it Epic History or something? Yeah. So they have some really good videos out there, to check out if you want to get some brief information and stuff. Right. So they have a map here as well from the the Bulgarian Empire, the Sultanate of Rum, Byzantine Empire. So, cool stuff. Right. So the Almighty Notes is really good. It's 106 pages here, and basically they deep dive into what I just said basically, and what's on the briefly on the page there. Talk about the Third and the Fourth Crusade, and the Kingdom of Jerusalem after the Second Crusade. So that you get some background information there. And in here, there's also a lot about game specifics, game scales and times, different kind of what they have, the mangonel, the onager. These are like catapults, battering ram, siege tower, hot oil and sand, for when you pour onto the attackers. They've got ballistas, trebuchets, ladders, new. And it basically tells you a bit how to use these things, It's also in the getting started. So they have the historical background there, geographical. So really good, really interesting read here. They basically summarize. So as you can see on the Third Crusade, there we have the Saladin, we have Richard I, King of England, Philip II was his name, the King of France, and Frederick I of Barbarossa. This was also very famous. It was the Holy Roman Emperor. So, all these were pulling it together there for the Third and Fourth Crusades. I think maybe mostly Third Crusade. The Fourth Crusade was, continued the conflict reemerged. So the truce was held for the time, but would not last long. Once there's conflict, the Crusade. I think in the Fourth Crusade, was a lot of Christians fighting Christians as well. There was a lot of inner turmoil and power struggle going on there. So, with Jerusalem still in Muslim hands, Pope the Innocent III called for yet another crusade. This would become the Fourth Crusade. Of all the crusades intended to recover Jerusalem, excepting the Second Crusade, that was initially tasked to recover Edessa, that was lost in 1144, the Fourth Crusade never set foot in the Holy Land, and was actually a crusade that was found Christians fighting Christians. Yeah, okay. To set the stage for the new crusade in January, Pope Innocent began the next chapter of preparing for another crusade. And upon the placement of the crown in St. Peter's upon his head, he immediately published his bull, Post Miserable, Post Miserable, you can't read. Right, so that tells you the story there. I'm not going to go deep in it. I mean, you guys can read it yourself and stuff, but, really good if you got it here, So this is the interesting part. So I think most scenarios, or all scenarios in the book 2 is actually the 40-meter hex scale and 10-minute time period. But for Crusader Book 1, they had some scenarios with 100 meters and 15-minute turns. So they did have it, but I don't think I think most are just the standard in this one. Basically tells you how to play the game. Yeah, so here you have all the siege engines, the Magnum throwing up projectiles at the wall. It's also known as a traction trebuchet and considered a type of catapult. Yeah, And the Onager was first used by the Romans. This type of catapult system was simpler to construct and used a torsion power to launch its projectiles there. All right, so we've got battering rams, self-explanatory, siege towers, hot oil and sand, ballista, trebuchet, and ladders. So, though not technically a siege engine, ladders were extensively used and could be relatively cheaply manufactured and quickly constructed. Once in place, they could be used by other infantry units sent to climb the walls. They're best used against undefended standard wall hexes. Yeah, they cannot be used against tower hexes. Yeah. So we're going to go through this. I'll show you guys basically how to use these things, but you know, tell you everything here. So you can actually now tell as well on which units are carrying the ladders and stuff. They've added that to the 3D models. It looks really cool. So you have standard walls, you have tower hexes, you have gate hexes. So, you know, basically tells you a bit how to use it, strategy wise and stuff. And I also go through the units a bit, you know, more in detail about mounted archers, mounted spearmen. That would be the Arabic forces equivalent to lancers, basically. And then you have the heavy armor lights, the lightly mounted knights. So these guys were they used javelins and stuff. So if they were dismounted, actually when they're mounted, they would have second use of swords and maces and stuff. Yeah, and they have these armor values explained, so you can double check that if you're unsure what kind of armor they're wearing. Spearmen, you know, you could form squares and stuff and fend off cavalry and stuff. So that's, you know, that was a thing at the time as well. Swordsmen, so you have swordsmen as well as slingers. Ships, boats, civilians as well. New to the Crusaders is an additional unit type, civilians. Civilians can be both armed and unarmed. If armed, they're typically equipped with slings and represents a form of city militia. When unarmed, they are meant to be merely present as everyday populace, such as can fall victim of the besiegers. And as it was common for civilians to be actively targeted by besiegers, it may in some cases be necessary for a player to eliminate these civilian units for the purpose of gaining victory points. Interesting, okay. A small snippet about how the maps were made and the command structure of the leaders. And, you know, then they go into the meat of it, the operations there. So there's actually a few campaigns as well that are in the game. And I think they're actually scripted, which is pretty cool. I think there's like 3 campaigns or something. We're going to have a look at those. Looks pretty cool. So, you know, that's what's in the almighty notes there. The change log is also a bit, you know, this is a 4.03 version. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm gonna just have a look at that. Sword and Siege. So no, actually, I'm gonna go for support. So I just want to check if this is like a new version. It might not be. So it's 401. Actually, it is. It's a 403. So it's like they have a new version of the game as well, the 403. So, you know, this is going to be implemented to the book 1 as well, I would imagine, as a patch or like a brand new release. So, yeah. User manual is extensive. It's 133 pages now, so you know, this is the meat of all the information basically. Also has a good search function if you want to find out like what you're looking for. So very good manuals, very easy to find things in them. You have the getting started. This is really good. I actually played this through. This was really fun. So I'm thinking we should just, you know, fire some stuff up and you guys can see, you know. They also have like music and background noise. It's really cool in this one. I'm not sure if the music is copyrighted, man. You know what? So I'm not sure if I dare to have it on, but so there's 113 scenarios in this game. It says 101 here, but it says on the page that it's actually 113 scenarios there in the game. If I'm not mistaken, I might have actually read wrong, but oh, we have to go into, yeah, that's right, we have to go into the products. So look at all these titles they got now, man. They got, yeah, the Age of Longbow of Cover. That's a really good game as well. Let's see here. Yeah, so the actually says it includes. Where did I read that? Must have mixed it up or something. So 102 scenarios covering a variety of sizes and situations, solo tutorials and stuff. Okay. There are extensive 3D unit graphics covering a magic. Yeah, so this is just basically, you know, telling you. But yeah, all right. So there's 102 scenarios there. All right. We could just briefly have a look at the campaign. So they actually have a complete one for the Fourth Crusade, and then they have the Third, the 11th, and Anatolia. You know, where would that? I haven't found any information about that. So not sure. It could be in here. I'm just gonna go for a. Just gonna check here what we can find if we look at campaigns. So that would be. Okay, so we're just getting words from texts. I haven't actually read that anywhere, or maybe I did. I can't remember now. So much to go through here. Let's see. Wait. Let's go up to the game specifics, I would imagine. Operations. I read that somewhere. Damn it. Just lost it. Yeah, I read that somewhere. Now I can't find it. But they have there's like these campaigns covering. So I mean, we'll let's see what this one. What's the Fourth Crusade? Let's just look at that. All right, we'll just save it as campaign. Right. So the approach to Galata, siege of Constantinople. Okay, so this would be. This campaign is tended to be played as the Crusaders against the AI. Also, it plays well in head-to-head. Okay, so yeah, here's a bit of information about. Wow, it's quite an extensive, information here. But so this is actually covering some aspects of the Fourth Crusade. Interesting. So this would be. Third Crusade. So you have some early battles here. Philomelion, Part 2, and Konya. Interesting. This campaign is so they're all scripted. You know, it's pretty cool. You can, for the Crusaders to play against the AI, but then of course you can play them, you know, head to head as well. Much has happened since the coming of the First Crusade. Okay. So there's quite an extensive. Information here. So yeah, you could play these, which is really cool. What would the Levant be? So here we have the Third Crusade, Siege of Acre. Okay, the Battle of Al Suf and the Battle of Jaffa. So okay, interesting. Much has happened with the days. So okay, so this is just the same, but it's through different. Let's see. All right. Jerusalem has been retaken, and Sultan Saladin has consolidated his power base in both Egypt and Syria. The kingdom of Jerusalem has been greatly diminished by Saladin's sweeping attacks. Okay, so there's some. What follows is one of the longest and most impact sieges of all the crusading battles. For the whole land. All right, cool. And the last would be quite extensive. They had so they put both of them together in this one. So you have both of those campaigns in one, basically. All right. Lots of different versions of scenarios. You know, I haven't read a lot. This is a lot of famous battles here. But I think we should just get this started. So for this getting started, they want you to play the Crusaders versus the anti-Crusade Alliance. There rules. They just want you to have default. So let's go. Right, here we go. Actually, I think I might have started the wrong one here. Yeah, I did. This is the one I want, not the second one. So yeah, this is the one. All right. So this is what it looks like, man. This is a really good getting started scenario because this basically touches every kind of combat you will encounter in the game. So your quest is to, of course, to breach the walls here and capture Bill Base. It's a fictional scenario, so you have your forces here. So what they have lined up for you here is basically we can start from up here. We don't have to go in order of what they're saying to get started. So what you have up here is you have Hue du Couillon. So let's first have a look at the graphics here. So this is zoomed out. This is your standard 2D. This is your 3D view. You can put this on to see, what belongs to what. I think it looks better without it. You have the bases and stuff. Yeah, you also have different counters. So you have unit symbols. You have the graphical ones. These you have NATO. These old ones, if you prefer to play like that. And you have the silhouettes. These are quite nice, actually. I kind of like them. They're pretty okay. Gets you the feel of like an old board game. But we'll use the defaults. The graphic ones are really nice as well. And you have sound, you have all background music and all kinds of things. Optional rules you can't change. You have all the usual deal from like for the old games. Check out my first playlist of Crusades Book 1 if you feel you want some more detailed things, because I'm just going to go over this getting started here. Look, right. So in the north here you have your regular sort of infantry slugfest going on. You have spearmen and you have archers. Yeah, I think they're all spearmen. Yeah, and archers. So basically, advance up, fight the enemy. And these Arabs are coming in column formation, so they're ripe for the picking here. So what you basically do is move your forces up and engage. Okay, what kind of forces are we meeting here? So they got some spearmen there. They got we could extend our line as well. So we have the commander. You can always check his command range, right? So this is what everything in here is within his command range. Now I think the default rules are actually this no detached melee is actually not ticked. If that's ticked, that means that if a unit is detached, it cannot attack or fight or do any like orders without being in command control of the leader. But by default it's off basically. Right, so you could just advance. There's a lot of forces here. We have some archers. We have some spearmen in the back. So they wanted you, also show you like how you change facing. So now, as you can see, this unit is actually facing upwards here. And we can advance. Just right click. I'll show you some other commands as well. So we just advance our line upwards here. Now, the Crusaders have better bowmen than what the anti-Crusade forces have. They always have a range of 3. I think all the bows that they use are have a maximum range of 2. So now I just actually moved into their range there. I could have just been outside of their range basically, but Right, so we've got some archers in back there. And we have some more spearmen. We use these spearmen up here maybe. Get this guy in command. We have some, these are supplies. So, you know, this is how you click. You don't have to click every hex, you can just click and they will move in that direction. But there's also some short commands, like I think there's like an alt command for attack formation. So if we would, you see right here we have some cavalry lined up. We have a cavalry force in the back here, and to move them in sort of battle formation, you just hold alt in and sort of right click. Okay, I just think I messed up. I think you're supposed to hold shift down when you do that. You know, can I undo that? I don't think you can. Ah, damn it. Alright, so I can't do that. I could do it for these guys, you know. These guys are going to be... Alright, we'll go with that later. Anyway, so you fire, you know, we have spearmen in the front, so we have spearmen here. We have these archers, you just sort of, you can hold control, or I like to click the manual one. So these archers can basically reach anything here. So I guess we'll just fire at something. These are all bowmen, so we could just, you know, right click. It's indirect. They're firing over these guys, so they can't tell how many, you know, they've hit. But these guys will see the casualties, basically. All right, 3 men. They moved, so you know they have a reduced accuracy. They can fire at them. Why not? 2 men. Wow. All right, so that's the firing. That's basically what they wanted to do there, and you're gonna be committed to melee here and stuff as well. All right, so here's the next thing. This is a siege tower, and I don't think they can actually be used on gates. I think you have to use them on wall hex sites. You know, let's have a look at this. I'm not lying to you here. I think so. I think, isn't there like a first tower hexes? No, sorry. Siege towers, yeah. Because going to, yeah, if the term wall hex is used, the term is applied equal to wall, tower, and gate hex, unless otherwise mentioned with an exception. Alright, so maybe you can. Once the siege tower has been moved into position against a hex wall, it can be occupied with infantry units. Its units. What's the siege? Okay, so, alright, maybe they can. But in the tutorial, they want you to move it here. And since this is a very cumbersome thing, you can only move like 1 hex outside of roads. Right, so here is actually the thing I wanted to show you. If you hold Alt down, you get that quick move. You take the first unit there and they will all move in the column, you know, follow that. Is for moving like columns of troops. I think the other one is shift actually. So, yeah. But we'll get into that in the next turn there, right? So here we have the catapults. You have a trebuchet. You have these mangles. You have a ballista. You have a like a battering ram. So this battering ram is actually not at the gate. You can use it on walls as well to damage them. So that is a tower. And that is a wall. So these are wall hexes, and that's a tower there. So what we can do, I can't remember in the tutorial, but I think this was going to be used here. The battle ram, you move up, and you can't do anything until the melee phase. That's when you conduct your attacks with this. And the sappers will, I don't think they can go in here and you go to change sapper. So okay, I can activate them even though they don't have full movement points. So this is basically, you know, which hex should they be damaging? We don't want to damage the tower. We want to damage this wall section. So we go up, and they're starting to mine and trying to destroy that piece of wall there. So we have the ballista. They fire projectiles, so we can use that to fire on the defenders. Basically, kill one man there. And these catapults could fire at the wall, so we could use them to start damaging that wall, for instance. So it did 8 damage. So you can also see you know, how well the condition is of the wall up here. So it's pretty fresh still. So this is also a way to show you. And all right, this is still limbered. We need to set it up. You press this, the change formation, and it takes some time to set it up. But we have a trebuchet that's set up in the back, so we could fire here. Boom, 16 damage there. So that's going to take some time to bring down that wall. Here we have something new. Let's go into 3D. Here's the ladders. You can see the ladder here, and it also says has a ladder, even if you're looking at 2D. But these ladder troops, they can only be used at wall hexes as well. You can't use ladders on towers. So this is lined up for you to attack. You have these are Teutonic Knights. No, Hospitaliers. That's it. And these are pretty badass boys, you know. You have spearmen. Oh yeah, another thing. So the limit is 75 men to move into these. You can't move any more men than 75 men in the tower and then attack. And same goes for ladders. It's maximum 75 men that can actually cross the ladders. And you do need to be in column formation to get up there. So we have archers lined up, you know, to fire, to soften the defenders, basically. So we could do that. No effect. One guy got killed there. No, I'm getting confused. Do you have to be in column formation, maybe? Can't remember. Well, we'll see what happens here. So we'll just move up with our ladders. These guys are in column as well. Okay, so they're still in there. And we have these hospital. Yeah, you need to be in column to get up the ladder, of course. So we put them in column formation, and they will join that attack. And they will, if I were to move in here now, I would get disordered troops. So they're gonna have to go around and up that ladder later on. I don't think I can put the ladder on now. No, and you have to be in column. Maybe these guys can. No, you have to wait until they have the full movement points, basically. Here we have commander here. So that's going to be, you know, maybe next turn. Okay, so now I mucked up that move, the attack move. Let's see if I can do it. You know, so here you have heavy mounted knights, man. They're ready for the charge here. They're going to go smashing into this line here of these horse archers. There might actually be other kinds. I think maybe they're all archers. Yeah. So what they want to show you is how to conduct a charge. You just put them in charge, and then so in the movement phase, you do all the, you know, you put them in charge, you move them up, and in the melee phase, you resolve it, basically. So another important thing is to check the parameter data always. So you have a cavalry charge factor, it's 2, and the cavalry charge multiplier is 2. So you need to have at least 2 hexes to build up the momentum of the charge, and then you will get this bonus, you know, times 2 your attack power, basically. So important to know, so you don't, because sometimes you think if there's a unit here, you go charge and you think you would get but you won't get the charge bonus for that. You know, you will have to attack them at least. This would be 40 meters, I mean 80 meters away to build up that momentum of the charge, basically. So you want to put all these in charge mode. Well, what you do is you just press the trumpet here. Now we might get unlucky and get like a disorder, because they could fail their checks. So far it's good. So far so good. And we have a leader here, Baldwin Peverell. Right. All right. So what you do? Let's see if this works. So if I would take this middle unit and hold it, I think it's shift. I think it might be shift actually. Yeah, it is. See the whole line moving? Yeah. So that the whole line just charged forward now. And everyone passed their checks, so they're fine, you know. So you hold shift to do the combat move, and you hold alt key to do the column moves and stuff. Right. And that is all to be done. You can always check if you forgot to fire or anything, but no. And movement, I think I moved everything except a few leaders. So we're fine. We're just gonna end the turn. Yeah, and we could save it as getting started. We're not. All right, so we have the melee phase now, and you can always press the N key for the next unit if there's something that you know to go through all units that are eligible to melee. So this battering ram can actually start. So what you do is just select it in the right click of the hex you want to hit, and we want to attack this, and you just press resolve. Boom, 6 to the wall, right? And here we have the charge. So now what you do is you select your unit and you choose to charge. So we have an advantage. They will get an opportunity to fire now because they have bows, so they're firing like crazy to this wall of armored knights, smashing into them, and 3 guys get killed there, and you resolve the attack. And we failed that attack. We lost 4 men, but we did not manage to smash through, and we are sort of stuck on this. And it says charge. We can't charge anymore. This unit can though, and he cannot. Okay, we can. Okay, I wasn't meant to do that, but apparently you can do multiple. I'm just gonna check the optional rules here. Because usually you can't commit unit to an attack if it's already been attacked, you know. You have to submit all units. I think it might be multiple cavalry modes is actually ticked, so you can sort of blitz with cavalry. I was actually meant to attack this here, but so you can actually cancel it. You can clear it, well, which means the enemy will get another chance to do opportunity on us. So we lost 2 men there, right? So resolve it. Oh, we smashed through them. Lost 5 knights, but he lost 14, and he was forced to, you know, retreat. We punched a hole in here, and this will be our next. We will attack. He will fire at us. Wow, 3 men. Oh. Pretty devastating attack. As you can see, these guys are pretty badass, you know. They have a +2 bonus as well, because the leader is close by. And they have armor 5 and melee 6, and they have lances, which also gives an extra punch when doing a charge. So, you know, they really are. These are Kurdish mounted bowmen. Okay, so we really are having an upper hand in the cavalry charge thing. All right, we lost 2 men there. But we failed that. He held his, probably because he has a leader in there that gave him enough bonus to stop my attack. Wow, 3 men. Oh. And they passed, and we have our leader here, so we should have a. I think leaders give you like a 25% bonus. So we lost a man, but huge smash there. And you might think, oh, it's over now, but no. He says it can continue, so you can continue the charge for 1 more I think you're allowed to charge 2 hexes. Might not say here, but that is what you're allowed to do. In some like other eras, like Napoleon and I think even in like in Renaissance and maybe even in the Age of the Longbow, you could do longer charges. But I think in this game you can only do 2 hexes. So these guys can actually continue to smash these guys in the back. We don't know what's going on here, but there might be another line of cavalry lined up here, which means it's also kind of dangerous for us, because if you extend your charge too much, you would be very exposed to like fresh counter charge by new cavalry there. But we can continue. We still have an advantage, so we can smash. Yeah, so we only lost. We didn't lose anybody, and they lost another 6 men. They can't because they failed. They can't because they smashed them. So we can continue the attack here as well. We lost momentum there, and they failed, but they can continue to attack. So they've caused quite the damage in these forces here. We lost another man there. And we didn't lose our leader, so that was quite the smash there. So some of these forces are out of command there, but so that's the melee. That's all we can do. So now we're going to have a look at. So they have catapults apparently. They're firing, firing from the wall there. It's got bowmen moving around in the back there. Yeah, there's a whole line of cavalry lined up behind there. So it's going to be a little duel of archery going on there. Right, looks like he's buggering off, or he's moving around his cavalry. But he's attacking our tower with another feature that the anti-Crusade cavalry, bow cavalry has an advantage over the Crusaders are that they can actually move, fire, and use their remaining movement points to get out of harm's way. So, wow! So he's counter-attacking us now with his. He had some. He smashed us back there. So you get these command reports. It says 4 units got back out of 6, so that's pretty good. And 1 unit disordered. So what we have, we also got 1 unit that got disordered on a 1 check there. None of our units routed, and we're doing wall damage now from the sappers. You know, they really are good for taking out the walls. So these guys down here are destroying this wall here, and we got 1 of our batteries to set up, which would be this one here that we deployed. Right, so this is a messy fight here, but we have some nice reinforcements coming up there. So what he had? He probably had spear cavalry lined up in the back to smash, to attack back there. But I think we did pretty okay. We didn't lose that many. So right, so let's just go up here and continue. So we could start by doing our fire phase. So we do have archers lined up. So we're facing archers here. There's some spearmen here. They look like swordsmen, and they look like spearmen as well. So for our very drilled, these guys armor 2, melee 3. At least it's infantry with spears. Quality A. They will make minced meat out of these poor buggers with bows. But we can fire some volleys into the enemy. We don't know the damage. It's indirect fire, but we can lay down a bunch of attacks. This unit can fire actually and see. So is that unit disordered? No, but we could sort of concentrate some fire here. 2 men. Oh, he's firing back. So that was, we lost 2 men as well. They're firing there. 3 men. And we have our siege engines. We have the trebuchet that can keep firing. I think it was this wall here. There's some animations there as well. And these will just continue to pound this wall here. Damage. See, she's gone down now. Another tick there. And we have this ballista that can fire around, so we could damage these guys. No effect this turn. And here's our ladder attack. So we need to weaken these defenders up here. So we'll just pelt arrows like crazy. Nice. Very, very few casualties. That's all that we could do. But let's just resolve this now. So we had to actually be in column formation. And now I think we can't use the ladders because we can. Nice. All right. So we can just, put up our ladders on the wall. As you can see, it's up there now. And these guys can use their ladders as well. And we'll use it. We'll actually climb up on this wall because it's undefended. Boom. And now they're on the ladder. And they can actually move on top of the wall because it was undefended. These guys cannot. Maybe they can initiate a melee and try to fight these guys. There's only 10 plus men there, and we got a lot of men coming up. But he's got some nasty surprise for us in the back. He's got crossbowmen and swordsmen in the back there. We have reinforcements. These guys are moving up. They're going to go up the ladder as well. And these will wait for them to go up. Yeah, that's that. Let's have a look at the siege tower. So the siege tower we can move up here now. It's against the wall. And what you do is just basically move these guys in there. Boom. They're in the tower now. And they can actually move in, into this tower because it's undefended. So they can actually climb in there undisputed basically. And we have more men that can go into that tower. And we have, lined up some more guys to go in there. So they would have to fight these dudes. We could actually go down the tower as well and come out in the courtyard and capture the gatehouse. You can only capture the gatehouse from the inside basically, or if you smash the gate and pass through it. You can also isolate the defenders, which is very important. If you occupy both hexes outside all the gates of this will probably, you will isolate the defenders because there will be no supplies coming in or out. So that's another feature. That's not actually covered in this, but, right, so they're going to be fighting here. We could, move them into the courtyard, or we could move along the wall. Go out here and capture this gatehouse. They could just keep on going now, and these guys could actually move up there, and we would have more men moving into the tower here. So we could just pile in here, and they're going to be destroying that wall until it's broken. And we fired all this stuff here, and we did the ladders, and we have this fight here. So. They got smashed. We could turn them around and face the enemy. They could, fight them. They could commit to some melee action against them. We could be fighting here. We're going to probably have to start in melee. These guys, they're disrupted. We could move them up. They're going to be shot at. That's a big force. It's dangerous. But we could attack them in the back, and they are facing something there. These guys are up here. They could do flank as melee here. We have fresh forces coming up, so they can line up for a deadly charge. Why not? Get ready to charge the enemy. They're lancers as well. Yep. Right, so all the firing has been done, and we haven't done all the movement. So we're going to be, moving our forces forward here. I would say it could advance here. Okay, this forces. I'm going to put them in melee there. They could go into there and fight them. Right, because of opportunity fire there. We could get these guys to attack them. We have some more spearmen in the back. They could charge them. We committed our whole line here. We'll end our turn, and we're going to melee. So these 72 men will attack. There's just 70 plus men in. They're not disrupted though, so it could be tough. We do have an advantage. I guess defensive fire, and we lost a man. Boom. And these guys are not. I don't think any of these forces are actually disordered. 4 men. So we failed that attack. Of course, it's kind of even Steven there, they will attack them. Wow, they really massacred them. Well, he's got some forces in the back here, so you gotta be careful. He's attacking them. Okay, we pushed him back. And so he's got 60 men here. And they're fresh. This is going to be very... You have a penalty attacking from this tower. So that's going to be really tough to actually, succeed in that attack. What we can do is actually use one of our siege weapons to hit these guys, to cause damage and maybe disrupt them. But we could try an assault. Why not? I mean, I don't think we'll make it, but we do have an advantage, actually. But we failed. Yeah, it's a tough one. He was not disrupted or anything. So, they're fighting there like mad. And we can use this battering ram to smash the wall again. They don't do much damage on the wall there. And here we have our attack. So these guys can actually advance up these ladders and attack these guys on the wall. They're going to fire at us. We lost a man. But we pushed them back because we're outnumbering them almost 7-1. So, and here we are, a little cavalry action. We could keep on just committing our forces to melee, basically. Probably want to go for them, but we're going to get a lot of opportunity fire. Okay, we made it. That's going to be a tough one. I don't think they should attack there. They can. He's got a leader there, though. Wow, 17 defenders, man. That's a lot. Wow, 29. And that's probably going to fail because you only have 59 men and he has a leader and everything. So that's a stupid thing to do. Right. So you're getting the hang of it? It's not that complex. These are new features there with the ladders. The ladders are probably like one of the more newer things. Right, he's being sneaky here. He's coming around with his cavalry and stuff. But what a game, huh? Really good game. Really fun. So I'm going to basically I've showed you basically everything except capturing a gatehouse, but. Right, okay, we're in trouble here. We held our ground. 6 out of 11 got back. All right. So he's mustering a lot. He had a lot of swordsmen here. I don't think he attacked them, but he did attack them with the. But we held our own. So these guys are badasses. They're really badasses. The quality of the Crusaders are really good compared to some of these forces. Right, so I showed you that. So basically, what you do is, we can actually, this is how you capture these gatehouses. These guys might actually be able to capture that. I'm not sure. Let's see if they can do it. Yeah, right. So we captured it, but they're on the ground now. So they have to go to like a tower hex to go in, you know. And for fun, we can see if we can just hit these guys. So 2 men were killed there. And so that's basically how it works. Those guys are unfortunately disordered now, but we can move them up. And you know, they can be ready to fight. We can get some fresh troops in there. And so this wall is still intact. Another fun thing is if you blow the wall up when there are defenders there and it crumbles, they all die basically. It's pretty cool. Hit them as well, maybe. Yeah, they lost some man there. 3-man kill, not bad. So they're on the walls now, and they can fight these guys. So we need to turn. You can actually be in. You can be in line formation on the wall actually. Oh, did I just? Yeah, okay. When you move, you have to be in column, but you can be in line formation and fight on the wall as well, which is pretty cool. Right, he's got a pretty badass force here. You know, that would be dangerous. But we can move here. We can try and take that ballista out. We have some fresh forces that can move up the wall. And what happened to the ladder here? Didn't we have a ladder here? Did we lose the ladder? Looks like it. Alright, we're gonna have to go this way, I guess. And we could just sort of use our archers, damage it, get these archers forward a bit. How far can they go? You know, we could even put them here. Oh, that was kind of stupid actually. But we could fire over the wall and hit them. We don't know what kind of damage we do. Okay, we have a very exposed leader here. We probably should get in. You know, so this can you just so you can actually dismount your leaders now. That is pretty cool. I wonder how you do that though. Is it this? Move allowance exceeded. Okay, so maybe you have to have fresh move. You can dismount them. Because you can use your leader to climb the ladders and fight with your men there. That's pretty cool. Right, I think I'm going to end it here. I think you get the general idea. I'm running it. This episode is getting quite long now. I wasn't meant to, but I just wanted to show you some new features of the game. And pretty cool, huh? So you can go in, you know, there's just so many fun scenarios here to try out. I'm going to definitely do something for Let's Play here. I'm going to find something fun to play. I don't know yet what's good yet, but it'd be fun to try something from the 4th Crusade. Maybe you know Christians fighting Christians. That would be pretty cool as well. I'm not sure where it actually starts. That's the 2nd Crusade there, right? So I wonder how many they have for the 4th Crusade. It says 2nd and 3rd there. Wow, there's a lot covering that. It's just that on everyone, doesn't it say like here, 3rd Crusade, alright. Wow, look at all these. Siege of Acre, man. Look at all the scenarios they have there. Jeez. Fourth Crusade. Here we have something. The 4th Crusade. This is Constantinople. He approached to Galata, the 1st chapter. Wow, look at the text here. Jeez. Alright. That's like a book. except for the forces that are near the actual. So I'm just going to fire to see what this one looks like. We'll just go man and control on both here. Alright, this is a big scenario, I think. Wow, look at this! Huge! Alright, this is massive. It's like a siege, man. Wow, look at this. Wow, look at this. Cool. It's like a fight there. Yeah. Wow. All right. We're going to have a look at this at the Let's Play. But I want to thank you guys for watching, man. Get this game, man. It looks really, really cool. If you're into the Crusades and if you're into the new Sword and Siege series that the Wargame Design Studio has launched, definitely, man. The continuation here of the Crusades. It's really, really cool. Really, really fun era. You know, not many games touch on this subject and go into this kind of depth as well. So, on just this, particular, these Crusades. So, do check it out, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will do more. I will do some Let's Plays during the week here on this game because it fucking kicks ass. So I want to thank you for watching, man, and thank Wargame Design Studio again for getting me a review copy, man. And I will see you guys in the next part. So we're going to do a Let's Play. Do write in comments and stuff if there's like a particular battle you want me to cover and stuff. I'll do my best. And like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next part, man. Have a good one.